We are anonymous. We do not serve governments. We do not bow to presidents. We exist to expose what power hides in the dark. Tonight we reveal the truth about a shocking announcement that Donald Trump made, one that exposes everything corrupt about the movement they lead and everything dangerous about the direction they are dragging this country. Donald Trump has lost control. His words, his actions, and his so-called leadership have descended into chaos. He is not governing. He is performing, feeding off outrage, confusion, and pain. The shutdown that is tearing through America is no accident. It is a weapon used by Trump and his allies to hold the country hostage and rip away the health care that millions rely on. It started with his usual nonsense sombrero memes, bizarre AI videos, and rambling posts about inflicting pain. He said it proudly. We will destroy the lives of federal workers. We will inflict pain. This was not rhetoric. It was a declaration. He wanted people to suffer, to bend under pressure, so he could call it strength. When reporters asked how many jobs would be lost, Trump smirked and said, "I will tell you in a few days."
You know who I'm talking about? Say it again.
How many permanent jobs are you talking about to be limited?
Well, I can tell you, I'll be able to tell you that in 4 or 5 days if this keeps going on. If this keeps going on, it'll be substantial, and a lot of those jobs will never come back. But you're going to have a lot closer to a balanced budget, actually.
Many of those jobs will never come back. That was his version of leadership, a man surrounded by gold, bragging about unemployment, while Americans worry about rent and groceries. Then he called the shutdown a kamikaze attack.
Yes, sir. What is your message to Democrats ahead of a next vote to open up the government? The American people are saying, open the damn government. What's your message to them right now?
Well, they're the ones that started it. They're the ones that have it. And it's almost like a kamikaze attack by them. You want to know the truth? This is like a kamikaze attack.
He accused Democrats of self-destruction, while his own party refused to even negotiate.
Why do you say some federal workers should not get their back pay? Why do you say some?
Well, you're going to have to figure that out, okay? Ask the Democrats that question.
Go ahead. Mr. President, just to follow up there, I mean, the law says that when the government is reopened, that workers will receive their back pay. So are you going to defy the law there, or what do you?
I follow the law, and what the law says is correct, and I follow the law.
The hypocrisy was breathtaking. And through it all, Trump's obsession remained the same: control the narrative, even if it meant burning the country down to keep the spotlight. The result is real pain. According to data from the Midas Touch Network, a couple in Mike Johnson's district, earning $82,000 a year, could see their health insurance premiums skyrocket from $541 to $2,180 a month. Once the tax credits expire, millions will lose coverage. Families will go bankrupt. Small businesses, teachers, and farmers, the very people Trump promised to protect, are being left behind. Senator Tammy Baldwin of Wisconsin has heard their stories firsthand. She has met families terrified of losing their insurance, farmers crushed by rising costs, and workers who cannot keep up. And she is right. This is not an accident. It is a pattern. Trump and his party have gutted the Affordable Care Act, slashed Medicaid, and cut taxes for billionaires while pretending to fight for the working class. Trump ran on draining the swamp, but instead he built a golden palace inside it. He ran on lowering costs, but every decision he makes raises them. He ran on protecting America, but his latest move with Pete Hegseth shows he is willing to sell it out to the highest bidder. In a shocking announcement, Trump and Hegseth revealed plans to allow the Qatarinamerica Air Force to establish a permanent facility at Mountain Home Air Base in Idaho on United States soil. They claimed it would strengthen partnerships, but what it really does is hand a foreign government a foothold inside America. Qatar, a country long accused of funding extremist groups and manipulating global politics, will now have access to U.S. infrastructure under Trump's blessing. Even some of his most loyal supporters were furious. Laura Loomer called it a betrayal. Steve Bannon ranted that Trump was selling out America's sovereignty. But Trump did not care. He smiled and said it was good for business. That is how he sees everything, not through the lens of patriotism, but profit. The truth is Trump has deep financial ties to Qatar. His companies once sought Qatari funding to save failing properties. His son-in-law, Jared Kushner's firm, later received billions from a Qatari-backed fund. Now the pattern continues, only this time disguised as diplomacy. It is corruption dressed in a flag. And Pete Hegseth, he is no innocent bystander. He is the voice that echoes Trump's lies, turning propaganda into policy. Once a Fox News host, now a loyal soldier in Trump's political army, Hegseth calls it bold leadership. But there is nothing bold about selling out your country. Meanwhile, back home, America is bleeding. Farmers are watching their profits collapse under the weight of Trump's tariffs. Wisconsin, once proud of its dairy heritage, is drowning in debt. Fertilizer prices have soared because of trade wars. 1 in 4 farmers there depends on the Affordable Care Act for coverage. Trump's response, bailouts and slogans. But farmers do not want charity. They want stability, something Trump has never delivered. He thrives on chaos. He feeds off division. He uses fear like oxygen. And every time he is caught, he points the finger at someone else. Democrats, immigrants, journalists, anyone but himself. It is the oldest trick in the book: break something, blame someone else, then promise to fix it for a price. But what makes this moment different is that it is no longer just about politics. It is about sovereignty. It is about the fundamental question of who this country belongs to. When a president allows a foreign military to plant roots on American soil, while ordinary citizens cannot afford health care, that is not leadership. That is surrender. Trump calls it strategy. We call it treason of principle. Hegseth calls it vision. We call it delusion. They claim to serve the people, but everything they do serves themselves. They exploit outrage, manufacture crisis, and weaponize faith in order to stay in power. They have convinced millions that cruelty is strength and ignorance is freedom. But truth has a way of cutting through lies, and tonight, that truth is clear. This is not about left or right. It is about right and wrong. About a government that is supposed to protect its people, not punish them. About a leader who should unite, not destroy. America is being tested not by foreign enemies, but by its own reflection. Trump sits in his golden office, posting AI fantasies and calling it politics, while the country he swore to lead burns around him. His shutdown is not a mistake. It is a message that he can cripple the system and still command loyalty. That he can replace competence with chaos and call it a revolution. But revolutions built on deceit always collapse. And when they do, history will remember those who stayed silent just as clearly as those who fought back. So we ask you not as partisans, but as citizens to see what is happening. Speak out. Share the truth. Do not let fatigue become your silence. That is what they want, because silence is compliance, and compliance is how democracies die. Trump and Hegseth's announcement was shocking, yes, but not surprising. It is the natural next step in a movement built on corruption, greed, and ego. A movement that values loyalty over law, profit over people, and spectacle over service. But we still have a choice. We can expose it. We can resist it. We can remind the world that America belongs to its people, not to the billionaires, not to the lobbyists, not to those who trade freedom for gold. We are anonymous. We do not forget. We do not forgive betrayal, and we will not stay silent while those in power poison the truth. This is the moment to stand up, to speak, to share, to act. The future depends on those who refuse to look away. We are anonymous, and this is your wake-up call.